We are on the home stretch to WrestleMania. What's going on, guys? Happy Friday night. It's pretty rare that I'm here on a Friday night, but it's WrestleMania week, and we are here a lot. And we are going to be here a lot tonight because not only are we going to review Smackdown and offer our final thoughts on tomorrow's and Sunday's WrestleMania, but we're going to be staying up late here and be back here in just a little while to watch the Hall of Fame together that goes live in 2 hours. So I thought we would spend an hour or so reviewing the show. I'll take a little break. I'll have a snack, and we'll be up again to watch the Hall of Fame. The link is up on the channel right now, so make sure you save that for later, and we're going to be up here to watch that. But Smackdown just went off the air a few minutes ago. This is our final show. We had our final face-off between Cody and John Cena that closed the show tonight. And I got to tell you, I was pretty surprised with the crowd. So Cody got booed for the first time ever in WWE. I've never heard any fans boo him, but he was being pretty loudly booed. And you have to wonder if that shit's going to carry over into the main event on Sunday night. Is Cody Rhodes going to be wrestling this match against John Cena while he's being booed, while John Cena is going to, we assume is going to resort to some pretty dastardly heel tactics to get this belt won and this victory? And is the crowd going to cheer that? That's what I'm curious about. We'll be finding out on Sunday, but that was a pretty interesting kind of turn of events there that I wasn't expecting the crowd to shit on Cody. It felt like he grabbed him back a little bit at the end, but overall he was hearing some pretty loud boos. So that's what I'm taking away from that final segment. Also, the way that segment went down kind of feels like a Cody loss tomorrow. John Cena thumbed him in the eye, and Cody still reversed it and turned it into a crossroads and closed the show standing over Cena with the belt. That usually means you're going to lose. So it feels like the way that whole segment went down is going to equal a Cody loss on Sunday. So we will see. Some other concerning news coming out of SmackDown tonight is after the six-man with Dragon Lee, Rey Fenix, and Rey Mysterio, they defeated the Creeds and Gable, American-made. Apparently, Rey Mysterio was carried out of the ringside area by the trainers, so he might have been injured. And of course, Mysterio is facing El Grande Americano tomorrow at WrestleMania. So if Rey is indeed hurt, number one, that sucks. And number two, you got to wonder if they will just replace him. It's not like, it's a little different than Owens and Orton, I think. You got another masked guy and plenty of other luchadors, two of them right there, Dragon Lee and Rey Fenix, that could replace Mysterio against El Grande Americano. But that really sucks for Rey. Hopefully he'll be all right, but if he did tweak a knee or injure himself, he's probably going to miss tomorrow, and we'll keep our eye on the news and see if we get any confirmation on that. And if that turns out to be the case, I don't know if they'll throw both of them in there. I don't know if they'll try to put Dragon Lee in there too. I feel like Dragon Lee might deserve it more since Rey Fenix just got there. But Phoenix and Penta both having WrestleMania matches would be wild if that is indeed what they're going to do. And if indeed Rey Mysterio is hurt like we kind of feel like she might be. Bianca Belair was also getting booed tonight. She was booed a lot overseas, booed tonight here. But I felt like the crowd was more pro EO than they were anti anybody else. But Bianca was hearing some boos as well. And, I'm a big Bianca Belair fan. I think that woman could be the face of the entire company, if she would go heel. So, maybe the fans are going to manifest this. Maybe they're going to will it into existence, a heel turn for Bianca Belair. And if the fans are going to start getting on the bandwagon of turning against Cody, it probably is good that he is losing tomorrow. Instead of winning, because then you will predictably have the fans, he's being shoved down our throats. They have no idea what they're talking about. John Cena's kind of right. He's shoved down our throats. All champions win a lot. All champions are on TV a lot. It's been the same ever since the business began or since TV was invented. It's nothing new there, but really wish people would stop saying champions are being forced down our throat. They're champions. Like, what the hell are you watching here? Use your head. So, if Cody is going to start treading into that Cena territory where he's just winning all the time. I don't think he's even close to there yet, but it doesn't take much for the fans to start getting ideas in their head. It doesn't take much at all. They're easily impressionable, painfully impressionable. So once one fan thinks it, they're all going to think it. So it might be for the best tomorrow for Cody to lose, just so I don't have to hear the shit. But I feel like the way the segment kind of wrapped up, it's probably going to be John Cena. So we'll talk about that, offer some final thoughts. on WrestleMania that is tomorrow. We were here yesterday. We were here twice yesterday, by the way. We were here for our WrestleMania predictions in the afternoon, so if none of you have checked that out, please do. And then we were here for a late night classic watch-along last night of WrestleMania 1 that WWE has taken down. So that's twice now. We watched 6 classic WrestleManias this season for WrestleMania, and 2 of them got taken down, WrestleMania 28 and WrestleMania last night, WrestleMania 1. And it's just because I've got the volume too loud. So tomorrow and Sunday, I'm going to be very careful because I don't like to wear headphones. It's just not my style. So tomorrow and Sunday, I'll be careful not to have the Mania audio too loud so I don't risk any videos being pulled down there. So if you went back to watch the WrestleMania 1 watch-along from last night and the video's not there, that is why. But thanks to everyone who was here yesterday for our 2 streams, and thanks to everyone who's going to be here tonight. And I hope you guys can stay up late. Who's going to stay up late with me here in the chat? Show yourselves. In a couple hours, we're going to be right back here and watch the Hall of Fame together, and that's going to be fun. Let's do some quick shout-outs here in the chat, then we'll get right into the news here because we don't have a ton of time. We got to be back up here streaming for the Hall of Fame, and I want to have a little bit of a break to have a snack. So let's say hello to everybody that is hanging out. Good to see Doug Unfunny, Chad Jones, and Shane Belfus, probably. Ryan Adams, thanks for the $5, my friend. Hope Ray is okay, but being carried out by the trainers is never a good sign. No, it's not. Not at all. Ruben Anthony, good to see you. We've got Nate Dogg in the house. Good to see Colin Wright. Also, we have Ben Espinoza. We got Kevin, Ajax Johnson, Max, Pokebro. You got to talk about the PR nightmare from the past week. Triple H, Cena, Roman, and Punk. I don't even think it was a PR nightmare. I don't think they care. It's not like they fired the whole PR team and now everybody's just shooting off at the mouth. I think they don't care. I think they're perfectly fine talking about this stuff. So I don't think the PR department gives a shit, to be honest. But we are going to talk about that. We've got Victor in the house as well. Good to see Zach Palgett here. Super Fluffy Toaster. We got Tony, David Brown, AB, Daniel Barry Sports, Ricky Zalvadar, Bonkers LFC, Randy Watson, Shell Shock, Joe. Oh, lost my place. Let's see. Shell Shock, Joe. We've got Isaac, good to see you. And Ryan Adams has 10 more for us. Seth is going to homage to the 10-year anniversary of the heist of the century by beating Punk and Roman, but instead of a title, he's taken Heyman this time. And we talked about that in depth. We talked about that in detail in the predictions, and a couple of podcasts prior to that, how I was initially kind of dismissive of the idea of Seth and Heyman joining forces, but Rollins has owned every Paul Heyman guy. He's beaten Brock a couple of times, including some clean victories. He's beaten Roman for the title, even kind of had Roman's number at that Rumble when Roman was the tribal chief, owning a DQ victory over him, I believe. He beat CM Punk in that cage match, and I also believe he's going to pin CM Punk in the main event tomorrow, which means, Rollins will have multiple victories over all the Paul Heyman guys. And if there's one guy on the roster that can say he's got the number of every Paul Heyman guy to ever exist, it's Rollins, So, and somebody pointed out too, Rollins tonight, his gear, his jacket, or his wild outfit was kind of reminiscent of The Rock's gold and white vest thing that he wore last year, kind of matching a little bit. They dropped some subtle hints on Monday as well. So I don't know if this is WWE hearing that some fans are thinking thinking Rollins might join Heyman, so they're just kind of leaning into it as a red herring, or if they're really going to do it. So I think right now it's still pretty much up in the air. But when you think about the heist of the century being at WrestleMania 31. Now it's WrestleMania 41. I've even said that I believe Rollins is going to get a title shot out of this. I feel like he's got to win. And I think one of the reasons why, because a lot of people have brought up, why is there not like a stipulation? Why is there nothing bigger on the line in this triple threat? They should put like a title shot on the line. And the reason I think they're not doing that is because Seth Rollins is going to win and wind up getting a title shot anyway. So I feel like you don't even need it. I feel like the end result here is going to be a Seth victory. And if he doesn't have Heyman join him, then Punk and Roman can continue to feud over Heyman. And then Rollins coming out of the winner of that match can go and challenge probably Jey Uso for the championship. That's what I feel like is going to happen with Seth there. He's going to have to get a title shot coming out of that main event. How would you not? So that's why I think there's no reason to put that stip there, is because I think it's kind of unwritten. He's going to get a title shot anyway, in my mind. Appreciate the $2 there, Kevin. And thanks to everyone for being here. Do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button for me. Make sure you subscribe if you are not yet already. And make sure you drop a comment in the chat or in the comments below if you're watching this on demand. It's going to be a fun next few days. My God, we got tonight. We got the Hall of Fame here in a little while. And then Saturday night, Sunday night, full watch along and review streams scheduled. We're going to be here over 5 hours tomorrow and Sunday, so make sure you join us. The links to everything is up on the channel right now, and I'll be shoving them in your faces all over social media over the next 24 hours as well. Also dropped my WrestleMania 39 short today, leaving one more. I'll drop 40 in the morning, and there, I'm done. I kind of just gave some random off the top of my head memories on every single WrestleMania. It wasn't official. I wasn't running through every match. It wasn't a full review. Just standout matches and moments that I personally remember from each WrestleMania. I dropped them individually over the course of the last 40 days. Dropped 39 today. 40 will go up in the morning. So just kind of keep all that in mind. Juliet is here. Somebody pointed out. That's good. We can't have a stream without Juliet, can we? Let's get into some wrestling news. Not much to get into, but I do want to talk about a couple of tidbits. Now, some of you are going to be well more aware of this stuff than I am, but Las Vegas, the entire wrestling industry is in Las Vegas right now. We've got indie shows all over the place. We got Ring of Honor, we got Wally Mania, we got Bloodsport, we got WrestleCon, we got WrestleCon Super Shows. I think there's a Progress show, an Evolve show. I think even WCW came back to life and ran a fucking Thunder episode somewhere. I don't know. There's a lot going on. But some of the standouts were from last night. Ryan was giving us updates on the Bloodsport show, and Natalya and Karrion Kross both worked and both picked up wins. And I think since Kross has kind of done that stuff before, Natalya was kind of a little bit more impressive. Fans really, really liked her. She came out to, I forgot what song she came out to, some awesome metal song. I forget. It's not Slayer, not Alice in Chains. Who'd she come out to? I forgot. She came out to something, and fans really liked that and liked her performance, and she looked pretty badass in there. So we've got talent all over the place doing really, really cool shit. Also, there was at the WrestleCon Super Show, there was a Butterbean and Minoru Suzuki match. I didn't even know Butterbean could walk. I thought he was working out with DDP, but he's been really struggling. And so he had a match with Minoru Suzuki, which just sounds like a fucking circus. And I did see a clip of whatever was going on with Mickie James. I think she had a match with Maki Ito, I think, right? And then in the middle of the match, she gets on the mic and starts cutting a promo and that accent of hers on Dave Meltzer, and it just cringe as all fuck. And I love Mickie. I hate the WWE for how they treated her. But whatever was going on there, I'm like, is she drunk? What's happening here? What's even happening? So if anybody has more context on whatever the hell that was about, please let me know. And if there's any other, standout moments from some of those indie shows, feel free to bring them up in the chat. But I wanted to mention a couple of those because one thing that I'm liking about WrestleMania in some of these, more modern years is that especially a town like Vegas is the perfect place for this, for the entire industry to kind of just come together as one for one full week. I mean, all week long, you got indie shows all over the place. Riding, the piggybacking off of WrestleMania. WWE is fine with this. They've got talent scouts at all these fucking indie events. Indie wrestlers know the importance of this week and the matches they might be in and the eyeballs that might be on them. And then you've got WWE there. You've got WrestleCon, which has everybody, AEW influences, WWE and AEW people mixing. It's just a party. It's just a huge fucking party celebrating pro wrestling. And that's what I'm really, really loving about WrestleMania weeks now is that just everybody descends onto that one city, and it's awesome, and it's just fun. I really wanted to go, but WrestleMania decided to make their prices as expensive as Super Bowl, so I just decided to sit right here in the comfort of my own home and do this shit this year, which is fine, but it's cool to see so many of our friends there, colleagues of ours, fellow streamers and YouTubers and all that, having a good time, and I had a blast when I was there at 39, so if any of you guys are there, I hope it's a blast, man. Certainly looks like it is. One of the people that I did see that was hanging around Vegas was at WrestleCon. I saw a picture of Britt Baker hanging out with Mariah May, and we should talk about Mariah May because there were some rumors this week that many in AEW believe that Mariah May is going to finish up with AEW and head to WWE. Sounds like she might have, we don't know for sure, but she might have signed just a 2-year contract, and which was in 2023, the summer of 2023, which would put it up for expiration here soon. And if that is accurate, and if that is the case, and that is confirmed, people are saying she might jump to WWE. Now, we brought this up before a couple of months ago, and I said, for me, if I was like Mariah May, I might want to stay in AEW. Some people I want to see leave. Some people I want to stay go. It just depends, case-by-case basis. I feel like Mariah May could be more Mariah May. She's got a little more racy kind of an edge to her. I feel like that's fun, especially for the male audience, and I think she can do more of that and have that more more fun in AEW on that level, but that's me talking as a fan. We don't know what Mariah May wants, and she might have personal goals and aspirations. She might have always had WWE as a final dream. That's what a lot of people are saying. Her dream is to go to WWE. That's the way a lot of wrestlers are, because they grow up watching WWE, so their dream is going to go there. So if she does jump to WWE, good for her. I wish her the best there. I feel like I'm gonna enjoy Mariah May as a character more in AEW than I would in WWE, which is kind of why I'd rather have her stay there. But if this is something personal for Mariah, and she had that great run in AEW that made the whole world notice. I mean, she became a recognizable name just over the course of a few months, because a lot of American fans did not know who she was until she got signed. Then they see some clips of her, from Japan and stuff, and they're like, oh, okay, she's pretty awesome. And she hit the scene and was instantly impressive. There was no kind of warming up period, no time for her to find her footing. She was just boom, there and over right off the bat. So WWE, I'm sure, has noticed that, and I'm sure Mariah May has a job in WWE if she wants it. So if she is going to make the jump to WWE this summer, then I wish her nothing but the best. That's going to be interesting to see her there. And a pretty big loss, though, for AEW. They were able to have her for a little while, and she was the champ. She had that great program with the Tony Storm. It's going to go down as one of the best stories that company has ever done in its history. And then she's going to hop and maybe go to WWE, and that's fine, because what is she, in her mid-20s? She can go to WWE for 3 years and then go back, man. Let her do what she wants to do. So all the best to Mariah May. I don't think it's any sort of situation where she's asked for a release or anything like that. A lot of fans want to believe things like that just because that's what they want. But one thing if Mariah May were to jump to WWE, I would assume the only reason she's doing that is because WWE was the ultimate dream for her. Because if you want, I know that AEW and WWE both, but AEW has had situations where they haven't treated talent well, or talent has been disgruntled or frustrated or unused or whatever the case may be. That is not the case with Mariah May. She was used wonderfully. Tony Khan took great care of her. Probably not only financially, but in her booking. She was constantly on TV, won the Owen, won the title, wrestled in front of, thousands of people, pay-per-view, cards, and did everything. So she certainly wouldn't be leaving AEW because she was getting creatively frustrated. She gave us creatively one of the best women's stories we've seen across the entire business. So if Mariah May is going to WWE, it's probably just because that's her ultimate dream. And I think if I'm in the shoes of Tony Khan, that's a situation where, I'm not going to stand in her way, because with Tony, and I've said this before, same thing with Triple H, when it comes to these wrestlers, if you've got people being not used or whatever sort of weird situation is, and they want to leave, you can't just have a blanket policy like Tony had at first, like, oh, I'm not going to release anybody. You should judge each situation differently. And so with Mariah May, if this is her personal dream to go to WWE, who is Tony Khan to stand in the way of that? Unless she's contractually binded. But if her contract is up, I think Tony Khan should shake her hand and wish you all the best. Please think of us when your next contract, comes up. And that's it. Where there's other cases, like the Lucha Brothers or whatever, people running their mouth or just being vocal or pissy or whatever, Tony Khan might have a different feeling or attitude about it. But, with Mariah May, if there's one thing that she did, it's she fulfilled her obligations, as long as she sees her contract through and she doesn't want to get out early and she sees it through and she did everything she was asked. Absolutely. We wish her nothing but the best. And that goes for people on the other side too. Ricochet was like that. Fulfilled his contract. Nope, I don't want to resign. I'm going to go over there. It's the same thing as Mariah May essentially is doing. If her contract is up and they want to resign her and she goes, no, I'm going to go try my hand at WWE. It's great that we have two companies where this is possible. And it's kind of funny watching a lot of the modern fans really struggle to wrap their heads around the idea of somebody fulfilling a contract and then going and signing another one. It's so foreign to them. And their emotions are all over the place. AEW freakazoids are all pissed at Mariah May, and WWE diehards are pissed at Ricochet. They're all fucking dumb. Just shut up. This is a life you'll never understand. And watching the fans because now, Nitro has been off the air for 25 years, so a lot of fans weren't even born when there used to be two companies and there used to be Monday Night Wars and all that stuff, and people jump ship all the time. It's like their brains can't fully grasp what this is, and it's funny to watch. We should talk about WWE's fun PR, or I guess WrestleMania week media rounds, my God, we had very, very prominent people in the company running their mouths this week. Triple H, Nick Khan, Roman Reigns, and John Cena, which are just huge names in the company. You know, I feel like it's not even a PR mishap. I mean, they're being asked these questions and they're being brutally honest. And I don't feel like they're too worried about upsetting fans. Now, Triple H has taken a couple of shots at the fans this week, you know, along with what he said about, you know, the current president. Oh, he gets heat. I mean, he's talking about like this is a fucking game. I think he gets under people's skin and generates heat. And I think that's genius. I'm like, this is why stupid dumbasses win elections here, because people say shit like that. So I don't even care about that. That was just one thing. But then Triple H keeps going and he does a couple of more interviews. And it feels like, I've talked about this before, it feels like he's starting to revert back who he used to be. He doesn't like us, guys. He never has. Triple H has never liked the fans. And I've referenced that promo that he cut in 2015 or whenever it was in the Authority days, when he's like, if I don't like what I see, I'm going to tweet my displeasure. I might even send an Instagram. That whole thing was him. That was not his character. That was 100% Paul Levesque hating us. And you could see that. It was so fucking transparent. Oh, he's just in character. The fuck he was. He was 100% being real there. He has never liked the fans. And back in those days, when WWE was constantly disappointing us, he loved it. He loved it. He enjoyed watching the fans spaz out, get mad, get frustrated, scream and yell. Some fans don't handle it as well as others, handling bad content. But he liked it. It filled him with joy to watch fans mad. Then he took over NXT. And a lot of the wrestlers that he was signing are beloved by the portion of the audience that was WWE's loudest critics. So it felt like Triple H was changing. Oh shit, he's starting to understand these vanilla midgets. He's starting to understand the indie darlings. He's starting to understand this world and the mindset of this audience. And NXT, you know, kind of became like this underground alternative, you know, promotion that in my mind was better than WWE. And I'm like, wow, I never would have thought Triple H, this guy that hates us all so much, you know, would be able to book a wrestling product like this. This is not the way I thought Triple H would book. It's almost like he's listening to us, you know? And so he felt like he changed there for a while. But now that he's been in charge of the whole deal now for a couple of years, and he's fully in that role, and he's the new Vince, his old self is starting to come back. And he's saying it in these interviews. He's had that one sit down with Pete Rosencock, and he's like, this new word in the internet, it's pivot. You know, they say we got to pivot, we got to creatively pivot. We tell you where it's going. You don't tell us. Just being a dick. You know, just these constant like shots or just venting his frustrations. Homeboy is about to go into the Hall of Fame in 3 hours. Is he going to be the first Hall of Fame headliner to be booed? Like, Jesus, he goes on a media rounds all week taking shots at the fans when he's going to be this year's Hall of Fame headliner. You know, but we know Triple H is online. We know he's on Twitter. We know he reads what we say. And when I saw, when Triple H said those things, what that told me is that we bother him, our critiques bother him, and he really doesn't like the fans saying anything at all. Now, I do agree that there are different levels of criticism. There's nothing that I hate worse than when these dipshit fans being so hateful and horrible. I mean, these are people that are wishing death on Tony Khan, and then they get mad. Tony Khan can't handle criticism. There's a difference between criticizing and being a douchebag fuck. There's a big difference there. I offer criticism. This channel will offer criticism. When AEW does something stupid, I will yell at them. When WWE does something stupid, I will yell at them. But I'm not a bad faith, cross-eyed fucking maniac coming at these people with hate and all of that. So I understand Triple H, if he's reading the crazy, hateful comments that are just rooted in nothing but insanity and delusion, then yeah, vent your frustration. But he's lumping us all in there. And we've all seen it. We've been on social media. We see it with our own eyes. There are different types of criticism. You can be an asshole or you can legitimately criticize. And I feel we try to legitimately criticize and we never do anything in bad faith. And I feel like I'm not alone. There's a lot of fans that are like that. So when it comes to criticism, it doesn't seem like he likes any of it. And that's what you should be able to accept. You should have thick enough skin to be able to hear and listen to the valid criticisms. Block out the hate. But if you have people that are eloquently criticizing the product and making good, logical arguments that are free of bad language and hate and, and underlying, themes and things like that, then you should want to hear that and you should want to listen to that. And that goes for Tony Khan too. And that goes for Nick Khan. But it feels like Triple H is now 2 years into this and he's already starting to get butthurt about what the fans are saying. And what that makes me worried about is that it's just going to give him more motivation to do what he knows is going to piss us off. Now, luckily, Triple H, it's not like Vince is in charge anymore. It's TKO. So if the ratings dip and interest goes down, it's just like when a team starts losing, the first person to go is the head coach. So Triple H, if he expects to make it another 20 or 10 to 20 years in this position, he needs to stop shitting on us for one, and don't let the fans bother you to the point where you now have this secret motivation to disappoint us on purpose, because then your job might be affected. So I feel like if he already is getting irritated at the fans when WWE's doing pretty hot business, what do the kids say? He's going to crash out. He's not going to make it 20 years. And think of this scary thought. If it's not Triple H, who is it? I mean, the only person I think I would feel mildly comfortable with would be Stephanie, and that scares me shitless. I don't want her in charge, but I feel like she might be the only one. Bruce is just kind of getting too old. Like, what if Triple H makes another 7 years and he's gone? Who do they bring in? Not Shawn. He's just as old as Triple H, so I don't know, like, who the next booker is going to be in WWE. They're going to turn into WCW in like 20 years because, Vince and then Triple H for however long he makes it. But who's going to fill those shoes next, in a permanent type of role? I have no idea. No idea whatsoever. So we'll see. But Triple H wasn't the only one. Nick Khan did that interview where he said, I don't know, something to the effect of, the other company benches people. We don't do that in the WWE. They sign people and then bench them. WWE made a habit of that for so long. There's people right now. You got 5 of the Wyatt 6 members. You got no Andrade doing jack shit. No Alexa Bliss. There's people all over right now in WWE sitting on the bench just like in AEW. The point that the fans were trying to argue here against Nick Khan is this shit is everywhere. WWE and AEW both have this problem. And Nick Khan sounds like a little tribal ass boy when he tries to pretend that only one company does this and the other one doesn't. You got a whole fucking sea of morons out there on social media that think that only one company has botches. All these fucking botch accounts. I guess botches never happen in WWE, despite 6 of them happening this week. Nope, only in one company. So Nick Khan, who's this, genius businessman, and running the show in WWE sounds like a bad faith ass boy. What the fuck is wrong with you? Just pay attention. That's not true. But unfortunately, we're in the age of you can just say anything. And as long as you're on the side that likes what you're saying, they're not going to question nothing. So you probably have bad faith AEW haters with the hate boners out there saying, yeah, Nick Khan's right. He's not right. He's completely wrong. He's provably wrong. And that's what I find so annoying in just not only wrestling, but just in life in general. And you can just say provably wrong, untrue things right to people's face, and they don't care. And they do not give a shit. So you got Triple H saying stupid shit. You got Nick Khan saying stupid shit. Then Roman Reigns. His wasn't so bad. He did that. It was a Vanity Fair or whatever. And he mentioned his support for Trump. And again, I don't care. I do not have time. Life is too short for me to carry around which wrestler is a MAGA checklist. Like, I don't give a fuck. As long as you are not scaling Capitol building walls, you're not rocking swastikas, you're not openly racist and homophobic or just an all-around douchebag. If you are, then fuck you and your career. But if you just voted for the orange dude, I'm not going to boycott you. I don't care. I'm not going to cancel you. I got way too much to live for to worry about that. So with Roman Reigns and what he said, it's a pretty good illustration of how a lot of the country is just fucking dumb. And, the dumb to not dumb ratio is the same in wrestlers as it is for any group of people. So Roman Reigns saying he's a centrist, that was a little silly. And like, if you're a centrist or if you're a registered Dem who's a centrist, you are not voting for Trump. You're not. You'd vote for Romney, or somebody that actually has some respect, on both sides of the aisle like that, then I can understand, but you're not going to vote for the most, fucking insanely radical motherfucker there is. So those are just Roman's personal feelings and beliefs. Like I said, he's not J6 in the Capitol. He doesn't have a swastika. He doesn't hate gays and all that stuff. At least openly he doesn't. So I don't care. Vote for whoever you want. Politically, we shouldn't care. We're fans. We're here to try to enjoy wrestling. So of all of the comments that I read, Roman Reigns is, don't get me wrong, incredibly eye-rolling, but at the end of the day, nothing I really care about. But then John Cena, maybe I do care a little bit more about his, as he was quoted in defending, once again, Vince McMahon. He even said, I don't care what anybody says, I love Vince McMahon. Now, John Cena's a heel right now, so that's fine. That's all fitting. But again, Vince McMahon is a horrific human being. And we did know that there are going to be people that are going to remain loyal to him. John Cena and The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar and guys like that, I'm sure have no problem with anything that Vince McMahon did. Undertaker, who drags his weird kids to church probably every goddamn Sunday, has no problem with Vince McMahon defecating in a woman's hair and passing her around the office like a goddamn sex doll. That's fine with him. Still got to go to church, though. So this defending of Vince McMahon, you have to understand, will happen from people who he paid a lot of money to. And we've talked about this too. When the Vince stuff was going down, you got to think about, and some of you might, if you have somebody in your family, immediate family, or a close dear friend, or a brother, sister, dad, father, whatever, who did something horrific. Luckily I don't have any murderers or rapists in my family, but if I did, I'm like, how would I handle that? How would I handle that? God, I love you, Dad, but you can't be raping people. I don't know what I would do. Like Shane and Stephanie, what do they do in that situation? How do they feel? I'm sure they're very, very torn with it, and they certainly probably don't want to talk about it publicly, and it puts Triple H in a weird position, how he's got to just deflect whenever somebody brings up Vince McMahon, but John Cena's doesn't really care. He seems to be fine supporting Vince, and you have to understand that Vince and John Cena was Vince McMahon's champion for a lot of years, more than Hogan, more than Brett, more than anybody else. Vince has always had a special relationship with his champions, with his poster boys, and Vince made these people millionaires. They made, John Cena probably looks at his entire life and career and movie career and owes it to Vince, and he does largely. So it's hard to put yourself in their shoes. If you had someone in your life that gave you millions of dollars, worldwide fame, and then that person got in trouble, you want to still remember the good times, but I don't know what you do there. So it's gross, that Cena would even say that, especially in media, WrestleMania week, when this is going to get so much press and coverage. I don't think this is something you want to draw attention to. You don't want to draw attention to supporting Vince McMahon. So we're just hearing a lot of shit from a lot of the gross taint of the business, where I'd rather hear Seth Rollins and CM Punk do interviews, and even Cody for that matter, than those guys. And I don't even care who anybody or whatever voted for. It's just Triple H going out of his way to take shots at the fans. Nick Khan going out of his way to take shots at AEW. John Cena heaping praise on Vince McMahon. Roman Reigns supporting the wrinkled orange dumbass. That's that's just a lot of silliness. That's a lot of stuff. And they made mention of AEW tonight on Smackdown. They'd had a couple of AEW references all this week, which is great. I want the two companies talking to each other. I want shit thrown across the fence at each other. None of this offends me. I'm not a pussy. I don't care. WWE can talk shit about AEW, and AEW can talk shit about WWE. But what is funny is how when Tony Khan or AEW guys have made shots at WWE, I wish they would stop worrying about WWE. Shut up. Both companies do this, and if you're a fan that's not stupid, you can enjoy this. And there are times where I think you can cross the line. But when it comes to stuff like this, all Seth Rollins said tonight was, yeah, Punk, when you came back, you didn't come back here. You went to and wrestled in another ring. That doesn't bother me. It doesn't agitate me. I'm like, cool. They're referencing that there's another company out there, just like AEW does. I like that as a fan. I liked it when WWE and WCW did it. So it's always just a lot of double standards, in wrestling. So with WWE's comments this week, I kind of found them more like amusing. Like they don't care. You know, they kind of feel untouchable at the moment, you know, and I think a lot of, we have this really stupid imaginary culture war going on right now. And I think the people on the kind of the evil side of it feel like they got this victory and they can start being openly racist again and start saying retarded all the time. And, you know, the N word is back and they're all happy about it. You know, they're gleeful. You know, you can watch the people on Fox News gleeful that they get to be openly racist again. You can see it in their face. They're happy. They're super happy. So I think it's kind of a lot of that effect to where, you know, WWE's doing great business. You know, Linda McMahon's, you know, got a fucking cabinet position. The WWE Hall of Famer's the president again. They feel untouchable and they don't really care about backlash that they're going to receive from taking shots at the fans or mention who they support politically or anything like that. And they might not. You know, they might not. So, I mean, I want to ignore this stuff because I'm just a fan trying to watch the shows and stream and hang out with you guys. So I don't like it when this stuff's brought up, but it's in the news and it was all over the news this week. So I wanted to at least mention it without, I mean, for a while I had some transcripts ready to go for some of this stuff earlier today when I was prepping my notes. And I'm like, I don't want to read transcripts. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. I'm not going to read it. We're just going to kind of talk about it in general. We don't want to dissect this because WrestleMania is this weekend. And like I said, the entire industry has converged onto Las Vegas, and they're down there making some memories right now. So that's what WrestleMania season is all about. Everybody kind of coming together as one. And it's unfortunate that some of the top, most prominent personalities in WWE are saying very, very divisive shit. Whatever. Say what you want. My job is to try not to be offended by anything. And honestly, at the end of the day, I think what a lot of those guys said was stupid. Really, none of it offended me. Maybe the Triple H stuff a little bit, because I think it's really silly that he's taking shots at the fans and visibly showing his frustrations with us a day before he's going to be headlining the Hall of Fame. And that's going to be happening soon, by the way. And if I have any chance to have a snack, we better head into this Smackdown review. Tonight, Smackdown was over at the T-Mobile Arena, right, in Las Vegas. And it's our final home stretch until we get to WrestleMania tomorrow. I'm excited for WrestleMania. Can't wait. I'm going to get a good night's sleep tonight. Be ready to rock tomorrow. It's going to be a hoot. Seth Rollins opened up the show tonight. Came out in an outfit that was very similar to what The Rock kind of wears, with that, I don't know, funny vest with a lion on it or whatever. And somebody pointed out that the outfits are similar. They are. So Seth came out, and he's by himself. No Punk, no Roman. He sits in the ring, and this is when he mentioned the AEW reference. When the fans were chanting CM Punk, he goes, yeah, Punk, they chanted your name for 10 years while you were gone, but when you came back, you wrestled in somebody else's ring. So did you really come back for them, or did you come back because somebody wrote you a big fat check? So he referenced AEW and Tony Khan 7 minutes into SmackDown. I've lost count of how many AEW references WWE has made during WrestleMania week. What's wrong with them? They are on top of the world. Nobody should even be thinking about AEW during WrestleMania week. But they had a really good Dynamite on Wednesday and a pretty decent Collision on Thursday. What are you threatened by, WWE? Do your thing. Do your WrestleMania thing. It's like and Nick Khan, and they've had to make a couple of efforts to kind of like put down the company that I thought wasn't competition. They're not competition. That's what the haters say. They're not. Well, then why is WWE bringing them up all the time? I like that they are. I think AEW needs to be able to take a punch and a jab and throw one back. I hope no are all the freakazoids and the sickos and the freakazoids, are they pooping their panties over this? I hope not. Suck it up. Suck it up. It's not offensive. It's awesome. Throw one back. Throw a jab back. Next time Tony Khan does an interview, say something about Nick Khan. I don't give a shit. I like it. So Rollins mentioned that, and, AEW reference aside, he was right about that. Those fans chanted and Punk came back, but Rollins brings up a good point. Did he really come back for you? Or did he really come back because he got some fat money? But he might not be that right about it, because Punk has declined opportunities to come back to the business before. So he had to kind of come back when he was ready. So Punk didn't have a chance to retort that. Seth also talked about Roman Reigns' preferential treatment and all of the ways the WWE preferred him over everybody else, including himself, and vows to lay it all on the line tomorrow night and sacrifice everything to make sure the business moves forward in the right direction. And then he closes with, that's not a prediction, that's a spoiler. So I feel like WWE has heard the fans fantasy booking this idea of Rollins and Heyman aligning, and they might just be making us think that's a possibility. And it's not really going to be one at the end of the day. But we've had now some hints. You know, Heyman owes Rollins a favor. I talked about how Rollins is the one guy in the company, maybe other than Cena. Not even Cena. Rollins, I think, is the only guy in the company to really have the number of the Paul Heyman guys. Rollins has beaten Brock clean a couple of times. Rollins has beaten Roman clean a couple of times, or at least once for sure. He's beaten Punk finally in that cage match, and I believe Rollins is going to pin Punk tomorrow. So when you take all of those Rollins victories over all of those Paul Heyman guys, you combine that with Heyman's history of leaving for what he perceives as better offers. He's done it to Brock. He's done it to Punk. Might as well finish off the complete the trifecta and turn on Roman as well. So Heyman walking out with Rollins now seems less crazy than it did when somebody first brought it up like a month and a half ago. So we will see where it goes, but also, you know, Rollins wearing the similar colors to The Rock. There has been some talk about some possible big super faction being formed at the end of WrestleMania. You know, I fantasy booked Drew McIntyre finding his way into that main event somehow and coming out of it with the title. I fantasy booked Seth doing the same thing. We've even fantasy booked The Rock. What if The Rock wins the title? They just released WrestleMania 9's documentary and talked about how that whole thing with Hogan came together. What if they kind of recreated that with The Rock? It'd be weird if he was the one that walked out. And if he did, where would that leave Cena? Probably already heading into his redemption arc to try to win that championship. But after what he said about Vince, I kind of want Cena just to stay heel, and I feel like he should win now. I mean, Cody laid him out tonight to close Smackdown. So we'll get to Cody and Cena in a minute. But Rollins, I feel like, is heading for a victory tomorrow. The only question is whether or not Heyman will turn and join him, or if Heyman will just be Heyman's going to be involved in the finish. So Heyman might help Seth win for sure, but it might not be on purpose. So we might not get a Heyman and Rollins alliance. We might get Heyman helping Rollins in the heat of the moment or by accident. Something like that. We'll see. Good stuff from Seth, though, trying his best to pull this match together. And like I said, I think Seth is going to win and probably challenge Jey Uso right after that. We had the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which, you know what, wasn't bad. But I hate the Battle Royal. But the fact that they cannot put this match on WrestleMania pisses me off. It's just stupid. The WrestleMania is 2 days long now. Why can't you squeeze this thing in for Andre? I mean, they make such a big deal about it every year. Like, they don't talk about it at all. But I mean, I didn't even remember who won last year. Wade Barrett reminded me during the match that Bronson Reed won. I'm like, oh, I don't even remember. No recollection whatsoever of him even winning that. And what bothers me is that I was such a mark for it when it first started. I'm like, oh, what a great idea. I have big fond memories of Andre in battle royals, especially around WrestleMania time. And I thought it was so great. And the first match was so tremendous with Cesaro slamming Big Show. I'm like, oh, this is going to be so huge. And then it's been a big steaming pile of irrelevant donkey shit ever since. What's the point? I don't even care. I don't give two pubes who wins these matches at all. Do not care. Until we got to the end of this one when it was Nakamura, Andrade, Carmelo Hayes, and Rey Fenix as the final four. I'm like, that's a pretty good final four because I'm cool with any of those guys winning. Maybe not Nakamura. Luckily, he got eliminated, leaving Andrade, Carmelo, and Rey Fenix as the final three. And then El Grande Americano comes in and eliminates Phoenix. So with Rey potentially being hurt, at least they've kind of tied in a possible replacement, maybe on accident here. And I was surprised to see El Grande show up and attack Phoenix. I'm like, what's the significance of that? I guess, it's a new luchador, so maybe he's threatened, and that's why he went after him. I don't know. So he pulls out Rey Fenix so they protect him, because when Phoenix was in it, I was kind of thinking that Phoenix would have to win. I'm like, well, if he's in it, I don't want to see him get tossed out. So having El Grande come out and kind of pull him out kind of protects him a little bit. And that left Andrade and Carmelo Hayes as the final two. And I was like, great, because I don't care. But I don't care in a good way. It's not like I don't care because I don't like these guys. I don't care as in I like them both, and I'm fine with either one of them winning. And it turned out to be Carmelo Hayes, and that's good. Wasn't he like their number one draft pick, winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal? So the fact that this thing cannot be on at least on the pre-show of WrestleMania is really annoying. Like, not even I don't even think they do kickoff matches anymore for WrestleMania, but the fact that they can't put the Andre Battle Royal on there when it would only take up 17 minutes of time is insulting. We had a Charlotte sit-down interview with Wade Barrett talking about her kind of rough relationship with Tiffany, and she said that they had moved past it. So I felt like they're kind of breaking kayfabe here because they haven't moved past anything. You haven't even had the match yet. So Barrett is basically acknowledging that there's some unscripted moments between the two of them. There's some clear, maybe real life heat there, and Charlotte says they've moved past it. But she talked about how they both had chips on their shoulders and whatever, and it's Charlotte is going to win that title at WrestleMania, and that's going to suck. Then we've got the women's championship match having their final little segment here. Rhea Ripley came out first. She was joined by Io Sky, then Bianca Belair. Bianca heard some boos here, and then Naomi showed up. So I liked this issue kind of bleeding over into the Naomi Jade issue because Bianca hasn't been on SmackDown recently because she's been on Raw doing all this stuff with Io and Rhea Ripley. And I can't see Bianca staying there. I mean, her story with the Jade and Naomi stuff, this is still ongoing. So in a way, doesn't that spoil at least one outcome in this match that Bianca's not going to win? I didn't pick her to. I think Io's going to win, but this almost guarantees that Bianca is not going to win because if Bianca wins, she's going to have to go to Raw. She even said in her promo here, this might be my last SmackDown for a while. There's too much story for over you here on SmackDown. Girl, there's too much story for you. You got Jade there. You got Naomi there. You need to be there. So she's not going to win at WrestleMania. So Naomi comes out and she says, finally, you're on SmackDown. I've been trying to call you, leaving you text message, voicemails, but you don't want to talk to me. And Bianca's like, you know why I don't want to talk to you. And gets in the ring kind of face to face. And then Jade Cargill comes out. She comes out. Naomi kind of like runs off, and Jade and Bianca kind of have some words. So it feels like Jade isn't quite sure. Bianca is trying to stay out of it, her in the best way possible, but she's kind of in the middle. So Jade feels like she's a little angry with her too. And Naomi then attacks. There's a big brawl with all the women, and they spill onto the outside of the ring. And then Io Sky goes up to the top and does her big moonsault off the top onto all the women and the officials on the outside. And that's kind of our final segment there going into, I guess, Sunday. That's a night 2 match, right? And I will not accept anything other than Io Sky winning this match. I think we can cross out Bianca. They gave that away tonight. Bianca having still unfinished business with Naomi and Jade, and them letting us know that means that she's not leaving SmackDown at all. She's staying right there. So we know we can rule out her. It's going to be down to Io and Ripley now. And if Ripley wins, that's going to make me wonder why Io Sky won the title at all. Like, if Ripley wins the title here, was that them just manufacturing another championship win for Ripley to add it to her legacy? Like, why would they do that? Are they already positioning her to beat Charlotte's record, at some point? Like, let's fast track her some titles here. Because that would be 3 then within the course of a year that she had won. So I feel like Io Sky has got to be the winner. Now, Rhea Ripley doesn't make sense. Not at WrestleMania, she doesn't. She makes sense as champion, but at WrestleMania, I think any outcome other than Io is going to be a bad one. So she's got to win. Backstage, we had Dragon, Lee, Rey Mysterio, and Rey Fenix. They approached American Made and set up a 6-man tag team match for later. After that, we got that tag title match. Now, this was so disappointing. So it's Street Profits defending against Motor City Machine Guns. As expected, we kind of thought we might have some interference because I was really hoping we would get some sort of a tag match added to WrestleMania. Because I think any tag title match with any of these teams would be way better than War Raiders and fucking New Day. So I was happy when DIY interfered. I think the match just ended in a no contest. I'm like, good. Good, good, good. This means backstage they'll make a tag team match for WrestleMania. And then the very next segment is Chelsea Green backstage with Nick Aldis. I was expecting a segment tonight with Chelsea being added to WrestleMania. So right when we saw the ending of the tag match, I had my hopes up. Then we see Chelsea coming into Aldis's office, and I'm like, sweet. Not only are we going to get a tag match, we're going to get a Chelsea match too. Even though I'm a little scared of Piper Niven, I feel like I need to respect her authority, and I'm not sure why. Maybe you guys can tell me. But I thought we were going to get that. Chelsea was going to get her match. But instead, she just complains about whatever that shit was last week. And then apparently she was supposed to be in a 6-woman match, and Aldis now changes it to a singles match against Zelina Vega and barring the secret Hervis, which sounds weird to say, from ringside. So hopes dashed. I thought for sure that Chelsea would get a Mania match or something out of this, and then he just sent her to the ring to face Zelina. Then we get all of the tag team guys backstage fighting with each other, DIY, Motor City, and Street Profits. And you're like, yes, here comes Aldis. And you know what he's going to say. That's it. All 3 of you teams are going to be in he said TLC match. He books a TLC match between all 3 teams. And then he says next week that the crowd hears and boos their asses off. So that was twice in a row. I thought we were going to get a tag title match added at Mania and a Chelsea match added at Mania, and we got neither. Very disappointing. Disappointed Greg, WWE. Motherfuckers. I mean, I'm sure the tag title or the TLC match will be good, but throw that shit on Mania, man. Open with that tomorrow. You know, open with El Grande and Ray. If Ray might be hurt. By the way, we'll talk about that in a minute, but if Ray's hurt, El Grande's win might turn into a loss to Ray Phoenix. We'll have to see. So up next was Randy Orton. Randy Orton comes to the ring, and we thought we might get the answer to who his WrestleMania opponent is going to be, because he said he wanted that. And or Aldis was going to eat an RKO or something, whatever he said. But Randy Orton just came to the ring and basically issued an open challenge for WrestleMania. We talked about that possibility. There was some rumors yesterday that was going to be what they're going to do. And Orton says that he's going to be in the ring. He's going to come out with just the right amount of baby oil on his skin. And if anybody wants to step up to the plate, bring it. Now, in my predictions yesterday, I said that if Randy Orton's opponent is named before WrestleMania, then he will win his WrestleMania match. But if Randy Orton's opponent isn't going to be named until he's in the ring, then Randy Orton is going to lose his WrestleMania match. And I still believe that. And I think now that they're going to have, I think WWE has decided, this is my guess. Nobody's told me. I didn't call up Triple H and ask him. I have no idea. But my guess is that WWE took this opportunity to say, let's use this to bring back Miro or Aleister Black. So I think it's going to be one of those two. I think Aleister Black would be more fun. But Rusev would be fun too. Randy Orton owns like a 5-second victory over Rusev a handful of SummerSlams ago. So Rusev could come back and avenge that loss. And I feel like Orton would have to take a loss here. And a lot of fans are like, no, he's not going to lose. He might not. I mean, it could be Nick Aldis. It could be Nick Aldis. It could be Sami Zayn. But I feel like if it was one of those guys, they would tell us before, because you have well-known not free agents. You have well-known signings from AEW that WWE has waiting in the wings. And so if you put yourself in a mystery opponent or open challenge situation, the fans are going to expect one of those names at WrestleMania. This is WrestleMania. It's not just a random ass SmackDown. This is WrestleMania. So if you bring out Solo Sikoa, you're not going to do that. You're just not going to do that. By the way, did you see that beautiful WrestleMania set? My God, that's one of the coolest ones. Somebody mentioned it looks like the Roku City. It kind of does, but I do think it looks pretty badass. It's a badass set. I don't know how it ranks against 39, but it looks pretty close, to be honest. So if it turns out to be Solo coming down that beautiful ramp and that beautiful set, people are going to be chucking their fucking drinks at him and stuff. So it can't be that. If it's going to be somebody that we already know or we already see frequently, you announce that tonight on SmackDown. You don't make it a surprise. So I feel like Orton, his likely victory over Kevin Owens has now turned into a loss. You can't beat Orton. Yes, he can. Yeah, the same fans that used to hate him for winning all the time are now all of a sudden saying, "Well, he can't lose again." Yes, he can. He absolutely can. Randy Orton could lose and still get his title shot at Backlash. It does not matter. Why? Because he's Randy Orton. Because he's Randy Orton. That's why. There are some names that you don't need to win to justify a title match. You just don't. Randy Orton's one of them. Charlotte's one of them. Cena's one of them. Roman's one of them. Punk's one of them. Doesn't matter. Just give him a title shot anyway. So, Orton also, though, if this is what is the scenario they're going to do, Orton's going to have to be willing, to take a loss. So, if somebody mentioned, hey, bring Rusev back and have him lose just to test how his behavior is after having to lose like that, maybe they want to do that. And I suppose that it's possible that Randy Orton does win that match. Maybe they book a scenario where he can win in that way. But, if they bring in Aleister Black and Aleister gets beat by Randy Orton, is that what we want? So I feel like Orton will just have to take the loss. He'll have to do the business. He'll be a part of a great moment there. Maybe Triple H will say, hey, or bring Aleister back. Let him black mass you. Just take the pin. No big deal. You're going to get the strap. I'm going to move you to Raw. You're going to beat Jay. Maybe something like that. Maybe something like move him to Raw. Maybe they're just going to hold off on him and Cody for a while, or him and Cena, or whatever the fuck they're going to do. But I still think that, like, for example, if Randy Orton loses to this mystery opponent, and then you just put that mystery person on Raw or something, or you separate them right after that, and then Orton can go back to SmackDown, and let's say John Cena wins the title, and Cody Rhodes is off TV selling, and he's going to stay off TV till after Backlash or whatever, then you've got Orton and Cena right there. Orton can just interrupt Cena during his victory speech on SmackDown, call him out right there, and set things in motion for a Backlash match. You can get there, totally. So it'll be an open challenge at WrestleMania. And I don't know, did they announce officially which night that is? I'm assuming it's 2, but it might not be. We'll see. Then we get Zelina Vega taking on Chelsea Green, and there's nobody at ringside to help Chelsea out, and Chelsea loses. Zelina hits a super code red from the top to beat Chelsea Green, and I'm sure that will set up a rematch, totally not at WrestleMania for the title. LA Knight was out to talk about his match with Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania, and he's got a match one-on-one with Solo Sikoa up next, so they start wrestling. Jacob Fatu interferes, causing a DQ. They attack LA Knight. Braun Strowman comes out to save the day, and then Nick Aldis comes out in his best Teddy Long impression and makes an impromptu tag match playa, which saw Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu lose to LA Knight and Braun Strowman. BFT to Solo for the win. And I predicted LA Knight to win at WrestleMania, and I predicted Solo to cost Jacob Fatu the match. So I kind of thought Solo and Jacob might get a win here, might do something to isolate LA Knight and get Strowman in the ring and pin him and just win the tag, giving them the momentum. And then Solo fucks up, but they lost here. So maybe that's just going to speed up the process of them finally imploding. But I still feel like I'm right about that prediction. I think LA Knight will still keep the United States title. It was Tiffany Stratton's turn to sit down and do an interview, and she talked about hitting Charlotte with that kill shot about the marriages and how she was being bullied by Charlotte and she wants to stand up to her and all that. So it felt like there was just a little bit of half a work shoot here. Really did feel that way. So we'll see how the match goes, but I feel like Charlotte's going to take that one. And then we got Rey Mysterio teaming up with Rey Fenix. Vince McMahon would have a coronary over this. You can't have 2 Reys on the same. Fuck off, Vince. So it's Rey, and Dragon Lee taking on Chad Gable and the Creeds, American Made. We had a Meteora from Rey Fenix to Brutus for the win. But the bigger story here is that Rey Mysterio may have been hurt in this match. I didn't see if it was, I think it was a leg. I didn't even see the part of the match where he was getting hurt because I was just kind of eyeballing it as I was prepping the stream here. But people were showing videos on social media of him being carried out by the officials and the medical staff. So it sounds like he may have been hurt. I don't know if we have gotten any information on that yet. If anybody knows an update on Rey, I think it would be a little bit too early for WWE to already announce that he's out. But he is on night one, and I was expecting that to be an early match. I think Rey and El Grande might open the show tomorrow. So if that's the case, Rey could be hurt. Rey could be hurt. So let's hope that he's not. But if he is, it'll probably be Rey Fenix. And I still think the outcome would have to stay the same. I know Rey Fenix just got there, but I think that if Rey Fenix takes the place of Rey Mysterio, then you can still do the same finish, because I don't think Grande would beat Mysterio clean. He's probably going to have some shenanigans. He's probably going to have a trick up his mask or, up his sleeve or something like that, where he's going to do something crazy to steal a win from Rey. You can just plug that finish right into the Phoenix match. It wouldn't matter. If you can, beating Rey and beating Phoenix, you could essentially do it the same way. And even though Phoenix just got there, it would likely be the type of loss that wouldn't do any harm to Phoenix, because it was a finish they had planned for a legend like Mysterio. So, it's a little bit, I think, less complicated if Rey is hurt than the Randy Orton situation, because now, who the hell does he face? Where with Rey's situation, you can just plug Rey Fenix right into that, and it works, fits just fine. So they might do that. But hopefully Mysterio is not hurt, because I think it would be cool if Rey Mysterio got another WrestleMania match under his belt. I don't know how many that would be for him this year. Feels like a lot. If anybody knows, let me know. And then finally, we got Cody and John Cena face-to-face for the final time before WrestleMania. And it was a little bit weird because Cody was being booed by the audience, but it felt like he brought them back a little bit. And he really went in on John Cena on the insults. And I think my favorite was when he said, "You're paler than Sting at Starrcade 1997. Oh, I died. He had a few zingers on John Cena, which was great. But John Cena said that Cody doesn't have a chance. And he talked about the first time he realized he could beat Cody, when he originally said he thought he couldn't beat him. I thought I could never beat, there's no way I could beat you in a match. But then my mind changed at the Chamber or whatever, when you didn't sell your soul, and now you don't stand a chance against me." And feels pretty confident. And then Cody has said that you can't wrestle, and Cena says, "I don't have to wrestle," and then thumbs Cody in the eye and then goes after him for the AA. Cody gets out of it and hits John Cena with a crossroads to close the show. So in all the physical confrontations other than Elimination Chamber, I think Cody has got the best of it here. And Cody closes the show standing over Cena with the title. When you do that math there, shout out to Braun Breaker, who was on stage somewhere, and he did the Steiner math promo with his Fatal 4-Way match. Great stuff. But when you do the math, that's a segment that usually means you're losing. The guy that's holding the title and standing over the opponent on the go home ain't winning. Cena walked into this program to be pretty much owned by Cody. The only other thing I can possibly think of here is that, remember when Cena came back? I was at the SummerSlam in 2021 when he wrestled Roman Reigns, and they just brought Cena back. Big main event against Roman Reigns. And maybe Cena is just in that role again. Bringing Cena back to face Cody Rhodes. Only problem is Cody is a babyface. He's a beloved babyface, and he's basically taking the babyface place of what John Cena had. So if you do Cena and Cody, WWE feels like that's only going to work if one of them is a heel. And they chose to turn John Cena heel just for this program. They've done that before. They did it with Shawn. Shawn randomly, for 7 weeks, turned heel in 2005, and then as soon as that match was over, right back to a babyface again. That would be wild if this is the type of situation we're looking at here. I don't think it is, but kind of makes you wonder. So maybe if Cena is just kind of back to do for Cody what he did for Roman, they just turned him heel to make it easier for the audience not to be divided, because there's probably a whole lot of Cody fans now who used to be Cena fans, and that might be hard for them. Just a thought. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Don't listen to me. But maybe he's just here to do that, and then Cody's going to win. But I think there's a lot more story with the Cena victory, and especially with Cody hearing some boos tonight. I feel like it would be more fun if Cody dropped the belt and then won it back, because Cody should beat Cena back for it if Cena beats him, especially if Cena steals it. Cody inevitably will have to win it back, even if the journey is long, like the end of the year, then that's what you got to do. So I hope that's the story that they're going to tell for the rest of the year is, maybe like an NWO thing, Hollywood Hogan holding that belt hostage. Maybe Cena either brings back the spinner or he spray paints the title or something like that. And, Cody's got to fight for the honor of, the company, which, and go get the belt back. And that's his journey all year. We'll see. We will see. But anyway, that is your SmackDown in a nutshell. Probably going to get out of here for a couple of minutes because we're going to be back in just a few to watch the Hall of Fame. Okay, thank you, Ryan. I didn't know that. They announced the 2 matches opening both nights already. Okay, so title matches. So the 2 World Championship matches, Gunther and Jay, and the Women's Triple Threat will open each night of WrestleMania. I did not know that. Thank you for that, Ryan. Yeah, you could also throw Penta in there. Juliet, you're right about that. Imagine if it's Naito. It won't be. He wouldn't make it down to the ring. He's so broken. That's the thing is so surprising about that. I love him, but I just feel like he can't come to WWE or AEW. What the hell is he going to do? Waddle his way to the ring? Yeah, that's Steiner. That was really good. He crushed it, Braun Breaker, in that Steiner Math promo. Did a great job. All right, guys. Anyway, thanks for hanging out here tonight. You don't have to miss me for too long. We'll be back in about 30 minutes, a little bit longer than that, to watch the Hall of Fame. So please join us. If you don't mind, hit that thumbs up button on your way out the door. And if you're not going to join us for the Hall of Fame because you got to go to sleep, sleep tight. Don't let them bed bugs bite. And make sure you're here tomorrow and Sunday for WrestleMania. It's going to be a hoot, man. I'm getting excited. All right, guys. See you in a bit for the Hall of Fame. Peace.